Well folks, welcome to our next video in the rod building series. So what we got today, I had a look on eBay to get some spinning rod rings. There's me trying to open it with one hand here. Now, this is not like all the other videos, is it? They're all polished and everything, and mine are a bit rough. So, spinning rod rings. So these are kind of big rings, and they're vintage ones. They're not the new Shimano ones or anything like that. I don't think they would look good on this rod anyway, so I'm going to go through these, see which ones we're going to use. Probably not all of them, I would imagine. I've also got, just here, another selection of rod rings, which we'll also be delving into in order to try and get this job done. And I hope that tractor that went past didn't appear in the video. Well, this is where we're at with the rings. So if you look down the road there, we've got a big ring here, which is about 25, I think. And that may not be big enough, so I might have to revisit that one later on. And these smaller rings, and smaller, and smaller. So we've got a nice big set of spinning rod rings on it. And then we've got the tip section, which I've had a bit less success with. I've been onto eBay and tried to get some more of these, but they are vintage, so you can't get new ones. And that is an odd one, which is a bit of a shame, but not much I can do about it. I can't actually find one at the moment. And these are okay. You need the line to be more directable as you get near the tip, so you need finer rod rings. I haven't got a tip yet for it, and these are possibly a shade too narrow, but the best I've got at the moment. But they will work pretty well, I think. So there you go. There's the rod with its new set of rings on it, and hopefully we'll be winding that shortly. Okay, so for our rod tip, the rod tip's actually going to be about here. We're actually going to use one of these, and I think that's a little bit too wide. I think we're alright on the fitting on the rod part, but the actual ring itself there is too wide, I think. So I might be going to do something about that. Maybe buy some Shimano inserts or something like that, and that'll be a little video all on its own probably. Here we've got the spinning rod handle that we built, and we've attached, this is an Abo size 4 reel. I'm probably going to use a size 5 with this rod, but it'll roughly demonstrate what I'm going to show you. We are going to do a bit of decoration down here, and in a moment I'm going to show you just how to do a little bit of gold foiling. We need to work out where to place the first rod ring. At the moment I'm not sure if this is quite a big enough ring, although it is quite a big ring, but you can get bigger ones for spinning rods than this, so I might get a bigger one yet. So that conveniently may have its foot plate right over the join there on the bamboo, so or the dam on the bamboo. We may not need to do a separate winding for the dam. As you can see, the rod's also been varnished now. It's quite a nice finish. When you run a spinning rod, you need your line to fly out at an amazing rate, so you need low friction, and that's why you have big rings in it. So if you've got a reel which is sitting here, the line's going to come off at approximately this point. You don't want it to be coming off at too acute an angle, so you want it to be coming off at a nice long shallow angle like this, which is why the ring is near the end there. And this ring in fact may not be big enough, but I'm just demonstrating kind of that in order to achieve low friction you've got this sort of long shallow angle, and that's why the ring is going to go there, or maybe slightly higher up, I don't know. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is do a bit of gold foiling on this. Okay, so gold foiling, you can get copper gold foil, silver gold foil and gold foil. You can just see where I've marked the rod with some little black marks just here. I'm going to use the threading to cover the dam, and I'm going to use the threading at this end. And I'm going to foil it first so that the gold shows through the threading when the varnish makes the thread translucent. The foiling is stuck down with, there you go, metal leaf adhesive. It's otherwise known as gold size. Now this is modern gold size, so it's not based on turpentine, it's based on water, and essentially it's a type of latex. When you put it on, it's cloudy, and when it's dry it goes a clear colour, and the surface remains sticky, which allows you to put the foil onto it. Make sure that your brushes are washed thoroughly very quickly afterwards, and if you don't, you find that they're stuck together forever. Okay, so this is the gold foil. You can also get loose foil, which is between two sheets. And what you do is to cut that, you cut it with a pair of very sharp scissors, and you leave the two sheets either side while you're cutting it. That's how you cut it. This particular foil is actually stuck onto the backing sheet. It's a little bit easier to use. Okay, so you can see that's on there. What you do is you get a moderately stiff brush. It doesn't have to be very stiff, but and then you just brush over it. And what happens is the loose that's not got any stick underneath it just brushes away. So you end up with a foiled area like that, and that goes underneath your decorative threads. Okay, so in this last part of the video, we're just going to show you the winding. And this is covering the dam as it happens. It's part of the decorative windings, but we're going to show you roughly how it's done in this particular case. So this is Fuji Ultra Poly that we're going to use, and it's grade D. And the colour of it, if you want to know what the colour is, it's called Blue Dun. Okay, so you start your threading by bringing the thread over like this. Okay, so what I've done there is secured it with a little bit of tape after wrapping it around in a spiral. Now, you don't actually have to do this when you're practically winding the rod. I've done it because my hands will get in the way of the camera and you won't be able to see what I'm doing. So that's why I've done it, okay? But the principle of it is the same, so if you follow what I'm doing. Okay, so pull your thread tight, and then what you're going to do is you're going to wind it until you come across the first piece of thread again, and then you're going to go over it. And when it comes around again, you'll kind of see what I've done just there. Let me get that into focus. There you go. So what I've done is I've crossed it over. So that crossover ties the thread down at one end. So we're going to put another few windings on there, and then we can release the tape that I put on and cut the end short. And while we're doing that, we need to keep this thread as tight as that so that it doesn't let go. Okay, so you can see there the windings are holding the thread down, and there's just a little end there, just there, where the thread's been cut off, the tape's been released. So now we proceed in winding the golden section. Okay, you can see where we are with it. I've got my finger on it there. So when you get within about 3 or 4 windings of the end, what you need to do is get a loose piece of thread and form a loop. Okay, when you've formed your loop, put it under the thread and wind over it about 4 times, or enough times that you're happy. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut this tight thread here to about that sort of length, in fact. And when it's cut, you need to keep hold of it so it doesn't unwind, obviously. You're going to put the end through the loop, and I'll show you that just before I do it. So, keeping hold of the end, which is what I'm doing just now, you're then going to tighten up that loop like that, and then you need to pull it through. So you're going to pull the end through underneath your windings in the direction of the thread's travel, which is off to that direction. So that now is your end tied off, and that's essentially how it's done. And what you now do is you razor that off, or you can wait till it's varnished and then just cut it flush, whichever you want to do, it doesn't really matter. So now we have a perfectly wound starter, and just spin it around to show you there, and that is covering the dam too. Well folks, that brings us to the end of this little video. Thanks so much for watching folks, bye.